Some say he's a technical whiz. Some say he was born in Cornwall. While others say he's on a journey. It's The Journey, and here's your host, David Hackett.
Welcome to another journey, and today we're going to join a person who will inspire you and guide you to make healthy, positive changes. As well as being a certified professional coach, they can now clarify your goals, identify the obstacles holding you back, and then come up with strategies for overcoming each obstacle. And it goes into much more, which we no doubt will discuss, but they also focus on helping people realize a specific aspiration, readjust their life goals, it says, improving their mindset, create a plan and accountability to take steps towards a goal, develop strategies to overcome specific hurdles standing between them and those goals. We welcome to the journey, Kate Glendon.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for having me.
No worries. I always like giving life coaches, people who like aspiring to inspire. So where did your journey begin?
So my journey began in how I became a life coach probably started from a long time ago, always wanting to help people and give people advice. And then later on through life, I realized that I wanted to get back to those that helped me before. So, I've gone through the journeys of difficulties with finding health, how to eat right, how to get through relationships, and how to combat work overload and burnout. So last year I decided to get certified just as a professional life coach, just to kind of help myself. With mindfulness. I even took courses before that and read books. And then I realized it's a lot about what you're thinking and your mind and how you frame things. So then I took a coaching course in how to have, mindset, reframing the thoughts. And then from that, I never thought I really would open a business. I just did it kind of for my own personal growth. And then I opened up Glendon Coaching to help and serve others.
Yeah, and I was reading, the website the other day, and it's just amazing how and I always say how little things are like mustard seeds, because everyone describes it as a small grain of thing, and it just grows so big. So I just surprised how big you grew quickly.
Yeah, I think it's because a lot of people can resonate with not knowing what direction to go in their life. It doesn't matter like what age you are, or where you are, you can always like restart your journey. So for me, I was in my late 30s when I decided that I wanted something more. And, I wanted more than just going to my full-time job. I wanted to kind of make a difference with people who were struggling with different types of feelings. Maybe they weren't feeling fulfilled in their career, or that they were, just struggling with, I'm so burnt out, or I'm having this overwhelming anxiety. And so there's a lot to that and what gets triggered for them. And so I know what it's like going to work and having panic attacks on Sundays. And so, I can resonate with my clients because I've been there. And through my weight loss struggles and challenges and being certified to help others with their food and, working in my current role to prevent chronic disease or managing it, like food and health go so together. So eating well will help you live well and live longer. However, as easy as that sounds, most people don't know about it. And what they think is healthy is what they've heard from social media or from the news. And there's so much mixed information out there and so many diets that people can go on that I wanted to kind of be there to gently guide them back to the truth about healthy eating. And it doesn't involve excluding food groups, but really a balance. And so that's kind of why, pursuing balance and all of that as part of my mission is because sometimes we're so out of alignment on one end that we need to find our middle ground, our walking path. So I think that's part of the reason why people kind of can resonate with what that is. And additionally, focusing on females um, and being a professional in this world, a lot of females tend to not help each other. We're very competitive. We have to go above and beyond to be recognized. And so I wanted to be a mentor for other people, especially females, that help them find their power and confidence and overcome fear and use their voice at work in a healthy way to get where they want to go, and also to reframe their thoughts and pause before reacting in um, conversations that might be causing a reaction, and figuring out how we can add value to their job
Mm,
so that they have some support in that. And
yeah.
I think this all comes from everything I needed. So that's why I kind of created my subject area in pieces of things I've gone through, because I feel like if I know what it feels like, then I can really resonate with my clients to help them and really feel that pain that they have feel. So I know what that is, and a lot of it comes down to bigger things. It's not just about the job. It's not just about the food, or it's not just about the stress and anxiety. So there's deeper and deeper triggers that we like to go through, and then we figure out, how do you want to feel? And that sounds so woo woo, but it's like, how do you want to feel if you have, had the chance to change that? And then we work backwards to doing little milestones to eventually get there, to be the person that they want to feel and be.
And I always believe in empowerment. Do you think that is the main factor of how you want to work as a person? You like to
Yes.
empower your skills to develop their skills so they can develop it onto other people.
Yes, I do. I do believe that because um, people need a cheerleader. A lot of people are their own worst critic and they can't do them themselves. It's hard to get out of that negative way of thinking sometimes, or um, work through the fear, because the only way to get over it is to work through it and to face it. You can't avoid a situation, just do it head on. And sometimes you just need that little person on your shoulder as a guiding factor, or someone to kind of give you some boost and things to think about as you're going through that fear. Because every time we take on a new challenge, we build our confidence, we learn something about ourselves, and maybe we fail, but we learn something from it. You don't learn anything if you don't take action. So it's all about taking action and seeing where that lands, and then reflecting upon it, being grateful that you had that opportunity. And now, what could you do better, or how can you use that to pivot forward?
Mm, I understand that. So, going into it says I've been many clients with, and it says improving their physical nutritional value, and I like that because people, and I know from experience, and I've seen it firsthand, people like to think a certain diet is good, and they are, nice normal looking weight, and when they do this diet that they found, and within 2 weeks, it's like they lose the weight, and I think it took about 2, 3 months on this individual, and they were looking skinny, they were looking ill. And I was like, what did you do? And they said, we did this diet. And I'm like, you sure you did the diet? Because it looks more than a diet. It looks like you just gone extremely off the scale with things.
Yes, a lot of people we live in a society where we all want fast results, right? Instant gratification. And so unfortunately you can't just wake up the next day after you dieted for one day and be at your goal weight, right? It's so easy to add on weight and it's so hard to take it off. That is true. Because there's so many reasons why you might have put on that weight. And any diet that, has works right away is going to, once you stop, have the weight come right back on. So, um, and every diet works if you do it and maintain it, but most people do not. They give up after 2 weeks or, a month or February. That's why they say like New Year's resolutions don't work because sometimes they're just something that you should do on your list. Like I should eat healthier. There's no deeper desire or passion about it. You have to figure out why do you want to lose that weight? Like, is it because you want to have endurance to travel the world or be healthy at someone's wedding or event, or if you need to be active at your job. So figuring out why, and then what were the reasons that got you there. And if you can figure all that out, and make simple changes over time, you're going to lose the weight. It's going to take a little bit longer, but it's also going to stay off. And that's what I'm all about because you have to have the patience. Does it really matter when you accomplish that goal? And, time is kind of like a restriction. But if you reach it in 1 year or 2 years, but you're healthy and you're at the weight that you want to be at, and you're able to maintain it, isn't that success rather than 2 weeks of, success of losing weight and then regaining it? So I guess it's in your own terms how you define that. But I think sticking and finding a way to have a healthy style while still leaving your house and enjoying things, having celebrations and enjoying that is more important than 2 weeks of a very restrictive lifestyle, unless it's something that your doctor is telling you to do.
Mm. And and then it says about building healthy habits permanently, and that is what you just said. It's about building it and making sure it sticks. Because I know for myself, I've been on a diet once or twice, not a major diet, but I made it changes, but I made it in slow stages, and then in time I made it a permanent thing because I felt like if I go back to where I was before, I won't be happy again.
Right. Yeah. So building permanent habits is tough because there's so many things that can throw you off course. Um, but I think that if you look at it and you're going to have ups and downs just like you do in life with a diet. Like some days there's going to be holidays that you want to enjoy. So as long as you have more days of successful building that habit than not, then you're more likely to maintain it. So you're going to have some little rolling hills through the way to developing that, but you're more likely to stay on track once you have, say it was flossing your teeth and you forgot for a week, but you remember to get back on and you were on it for another 6 months. That does not matter that one week you forgot to do something. It's the fact that once you remembered, you started doing it again.
Mm. And it's always good I always like leaving little reminders sometimes stuck everywhere to say, don't forget this, don't forget that. So that is the way to
Right.
remember.
So that is really true. Like if you, don't take your healthy vitamins, put them by your toothbrush in the morning because you'll see it and it will be trigger. And the more times you leave it there, the more times you'll remember to take it or leave it there, or preparing your food the night before. That's always good in the morning when you don't have to kind of stress, or leaving notes, before you walk out the door of things that you should have done that day. Um, that's always healthy reminders, things in the mirror. With technology, it's really good. You could tell Siri to put anything in your phone and set an alarm to do before, at 8 p.m. I journal or something like that so that you remember to do it And that's what's so great about technology is that it will help you to remember these things.
Yeah, and technology is a lot easier instead of having a piece of paper or a little diary in your pocket because it will bleep at you.
Yes. So, setting alarms like this is your time to move for 10 minutes always helps, because we are so busy during the day, that we forget about these new habits that we want to develop. So reminders in your phone or in your calendar are always helpful.
Mm. So, increasing your happiness in relationships. Now, people say that's easier said than done, but I know it isn't. But there's times where people are sad, isolated
Mhm.
around relationships, and then obviously one thing leads to another sometimes for some people, and then they end up estrangement by their spouse. What advice would you give for people in that sort of situation?
So for people that are in relationships where they're feeling alone or sad or it's not working out, first before you start on looking at the partner and everything that they may be doing wrong, like first let's write down like what's going right, like what are you feeling? Pulling that out of that person. And then, maybe there's something that the individual who's feeling upset in the relationship is imposing on their partner, on their relationship, whether it be, family, friend, or romantic. And, sometimes we look for validation from our partners, friends, and family rather than finding it within ourselves. So we rely on the other person to make us happy. Or if we don't have someone in our life, we're not successful, we're a failure, or not whole. When that's not true, that's just a thought that you're having. And, being so happy and grateful that you have these relationships and that you can work on them. And then, once you kind of can figure that out, maybe you're not feeling great in another area of your life and it's impacting your relationship, whether it be work, finances, spiritual, family. And that we have to realize that we are our own person. And sometimes we become codependent and dependent on our relationship and we lose our own identity. So it's about coming back to yourself first and making sure that you have that good, healthy love, self care for you, and then working on the other side of the relationship and asking them to do the same thing. And then where is the, the trigger, the conflict coming from? And looking at that. And it could just be miscommunication because in our head, we believe sometimes that our partner should know what we want and should, know why they're upset. But, people can't read each other's minds no matter how long you are together. It needs to be clear and open. And sometimes it just becomes people aren't communicating in a way that the other person needs or isn't showing love in the way that the other person needs. And to understand that is to communicate about that. And so you always want to start off with like, what is going right? Um, in the relationship and kind of bringing it back down to like what do you love about this person, like what makes them valued in their life and what do you value about them, because I think when we're in conflict in a relationship we forget to focus on the good parts. We just are like so upset about the bad parts, and then going down to like what are three things that we can kind of work out. Of course, you need the other person to be willing to do that. And that are some helpful things that we work on. But, sometimes um, it's unworkable. And, kind to understanding, what each person contributed to it not working out. And understanding too that sometimes we outgrow people, especially friendships, and that over time we develop and we grow, and those friendships no longer serve us in the way that they're supposed to. And that's, the universe, if you believe in that, or protecting you and projecting you forward. But usually communication is so important in anything that you do, because sometimes the way that you deliver a message, the other person isn't understanding your intent. So, asking clarifying questions like, um, do you have any questions about what I just said? Or, um, having them repeat it back in a way that's like, so that I understand it, or they understand what you're feeling. So coming down and kind of being very vulnerable, and you can say that you want to work on your relationship. That's great. But what are the actions that you're going to take to do that? And so maybe that's putting time in your calendar every week to what went great this week? What were the challenges that happened? How were you feeling about this? And feeling, every week understanding unmet needs. That's taking action and figuring out how you're going to address that moving forward, rather than just saying, yes, we're going to work on this relationship and nothing ever gets done and people stay stuck in that area. If you don't take action, your relationship isn't going to get fixed.
Yeah, and I understand that too, because, you know, I've seen people who say, I will change, they just put the baseline saying, I will change. And I'm thinking, yeah, you got to change, but you've got to change with these way in this way. And it's difficult because they don't touch the main problem. They just gloss it over and they say the main problem is the issue and they don't clarify. And it's horrible because you want clarification in that situation.
Right. So, yeah, they dance around the planning part or the yes, we have to take action, but then they never go into the action. And that's common. Like, that's not a lot of people that's the reason why they come to a life coach, is because they need help with taking that action to make it better. Because we can help with that, and sometimes it's anxiety about taking action, or fear of it that prevents people from doing it. But you just got to jump in. You have, nothing really to lose because you're already in the situation where you're unhappy. So, um, kind of figuring that out and being open to that is really important too.
Yeah. So,
Because
about achieving goals is a thing that you learnt in school as well as life generally. But I believe, and this is you can clarify this as well. Achieving goals is about achieving stuff that you can do yourself, as well as adapting it for other people to understand. Is there any way that people can do it to make it better for themselves, or is it just stick to what they set out and then helping them guide themselves in that? Because obviously a goal could lead to another goal, off to another step.
yeah, yeah. So goals are important, and we learn in school, right? SMART goals are achievable, measurable, and have a time length. And that's wonderful as well. But um, we want to have a now goal. If your goal doesn't scare you, it's not big enough. So you want a goal that's actually going to make you kind of dizzy and be kind of a little bit intimidated by it, because you want to have it bigger than your should do list, which means that, oh, I should be more organized, or I should put away my clothes after I do the laundry. You want it to be, something that you want, like, I'm saving enough money and being financially smart, um, because you want to go on a cruise. Okay, so you have a desire to travel, you have a desire now to save money because there's something at the end of it. And so then what happens is that you work towards that by, okay, what are your milestones? You save $500 and that's a milestone in 2 months, or you cut back on expenses. And sometimes we have to remove the now part, the time out of it, because life happens and we can't control the length of certain things. So that's like a little bit different part of the professional career, and the academic part is kind of allowing the time to come as it is, as long as you're taking action every day. If you're taking action every day, then you're going to have success. But we have to have a real passion for it. Why, like, what is your why behind the goal?
Hmm. So, going into the future, do you believe that people will understand about healthy positive change? Do you think they will stay the same? Do you think it'll be helpful for years to come?
So if you don't take action, then you're just going to be staying in the same situation. So, I mean, would you rather take the chance and build a healthy habit with me, or would you like to be in the same painful position a year from now because you didn't take the time, or take the knowledge, or try? So, right, if you want to stay in the same place and never grow, I think no one wants that. But I think you need to take that step forward and try to build that healthy habit and keep doing it. And you're going to fail a few times, and that's okay. But you got to keep trying to build healthy habits. And I think um, the majority of people are happy where they are, but there are a majority of people that are willing to take the risk to change because they know the impact that it will have on their life long term. And if you want to have, a healthy, fun, adventurous life, you got to take chances. And, some people like to stay very stable and live a lukewarm, safe life, but that's not what I wanted. I went full, deep in with my changes and opening a business, and because that was a scary goal for me. But here I am, and, here I am, 10 years of learning how to eat healthy and building change. And I did it. Sure, I have ups and downs. Yes, I enjoy birthdays and holidays and days out with friends. Because I built a healthy habit, I'm able to do that. I'm able to find ways to save money and to go on trips, to not live paycheck to paycheck, and manage anxiety on Sundays to be able to go to work. And that's all capable if the person's willing and coachable and has a desire to change.
Yeah. So if people want to get in touch with you and ask you for help, obviously we mentioned the website earlier. Can you just clarify the website and how people can get in contact with you?
Sure. So my website is glendoncoaching.com. I'm also on Instagram, KG Coaching, and on Facebook, it's Kat Glendon Coaching. So they can like my page, find me, email me through my website. I am offering free sessions for people who sign up for a consultation to see if they're interested. So you can find me that way as well.
Okay. And what advice would you say to people? This is the last thing. What would you say to people wanting that extra push today?
Write it down. Write it down and write down your now goal and your why, and put it in front of something that you see every day, so you remind yourself that you're capable of it and that you're deserving of change. And that part of changing is trying, and just keep at it.
Yeah.
And contact me. I have a personal group that we empower each other that you can be a part of. So I look forward to hearing from them.
Okay, Glendon, thank you for sharing your journey with us today.
No problem.
That was The Journey, hosted by Wise Words Imaging, hosted by David Hackett. Be sure to like, subscribe and listen to another journey coming soon.